It's time for Deadpool 2, the much highly anticipated sequel. The last movie opened at 135 million worldwide, 783 million dollars. Will it beat it? Probably. Joining me from Las Vegas, the city that what happens there stays there, is Jeff Howard. Jeff, how you doing this morning?
Hey, how you doing, Chuck? Am I coming
I'm
in loud
very
and clear?
excited. I know that you're a huge comic guy. I'm a huge
Yes.
comic guy, and this is the Merc with the mouth. And but the problem is, it's a sequel. Will it be bigger? Will it be better? But first, break it down for me. What's the plot here, Jeff?
Well, the plot is that we have a mercenary from the future named Cable, and he's coming back in time to correct something. And not to get there's a lot of spoilers in this movie, so I don't want to give anything away. So he's coming back in time, and of course he's battling it out with Deadpool, who's got an alternative motive too. And there's a lot of little storylines going on in this movie. It's not like one major storyline. There's like a thin plot thread of Cable coming back to change Cable's future. He wants to come back in time and change it. So that is pretty much the thread of the whole film, and there's these little vignettes that is in between all of those. So I mean, this is one complicated movie. This movie just demands that you watch it 3 or 4 times, not only for the jokes that go by so fast, but just kind of tie everything together because they put everything in the kitchen sink. I don't know if Ryan Reynolds thought that he would not get another chance to make another Deadpool, or maybe this is just the norm where they're going to make these movies so complex and so overloaded with not only but action sequences and plot lines and characters. I mean, this movie is an epic by all means.
Yeah, I mean, it's bigger and it's better. And one thing I want to bring up right off the bat, it's probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, 3 times as violent?
Yeah, I don't mind my violence in comic book movies or movies in general, but this was realism violence, So when people are getting shot in the head, and when you watch a James Bond film or you watch a movie that a lot of people get killed, they're like the same uniform on, right? And they have like, yeah, what was the movie? Ready Player One. You
Right.
just everybody kind of looked the same, so there's really no attachment to someone dying. And in Deadpool, yeah, people are getting shot in the head, people are being burned alive, people are like, and you're just going, whoa, that because it really has this really dichotomy where you're laughing at something one minute and then you're just going, holy cow, did they just do that? And you're kind of like shaking a little bit because you're like having a good time. And then all of a sudden it kind of brings you back into what Deadpool's really about. And it really earns that R rating.
Yeah, but did they go too far, Jeff?
I don't think so. No, I don't think they could ever go too far. The internet is saying sometimes in the end credit sequence, all the Easter eggs that they go too far. I think you're going into a Deadpool movie, you're going into an R-rated movie. I want to be challenged. I really do. So it's not like watching Save It Private Ryan. It's
Right. Oh,
where you
that's
come
for
out.
sure. But I mean, there's
Yeah,
some
but
beheadings.
true,
I
true.
mean, I don't even know if I could count the number of beheadings that happen in this movie. Now, but
Yeah,
is it too inside? I was watching this movie. Now, unfortunately, they had a morning screening, so my wife, who shockingly was very excited to see this, couldn't go with me. So I got to take her again. Yay for me! You can tell how much I love the movie. But I was thinking the entire time, will my wife understand these jokes? Levels upon comic books and Wolverine jokes and X-Men joke. Do you think, can you separate yourself, the man with the didactic memory, can you go back and tell me, will people, normal, everyday moviegoers, understand this stuff?
I think so. I think when you talk about those specific jokes for comic book fans or for those specific jokes that's hitting the audience that's watching it, I think it's because he's talking to us directly. So, okay, so and it's kind of like Mystery Science Theater 3000. Their attitude was not everyone will get the joke, but the right people will get the joke. That was their philosophy. Okay, so there were jokes that went by. I'm like, huh? I'm like, I didn't understand what that meant. Or like sometimes the cameos that we were going to talk about coming up. I'm like, was that who I thought it was? It went by so fast, So there were some comic book jokes in there that went right over my head. But the thing I really hope he doesn't do is really date this movie. Okay, so when you do specific, he did really specific jokes that's current pop culture. It's I can't remember exactly what they were, but I thought to myself right away, I'm like, ooh, that's not going to be funny in 5 years. That's not going to be funny in
Yeah.
10 years. But if you keep making fun of Wolverine, if you keep making fun of something that's timeless, the movie will stay fresh and be funny as ever. But he's got to be careful and not date the movie into 2018.
I was thinking that too because he's the merc with the mouth and he's making Taylor Swift jokes. Now those on the inside know that his child with his wife Blake Lively is the voice at the beginning of Taylor Swift's "Gorgeous." The baby goes "gorgeous," whatever. But and he
Very
brings a
good.
Taylor. He's wearing a Taylor Swift shirt. And I was wondering, is that going to hold up in 10 years? And I was thinking, I don't know. And another thing, like I know we don't want to give away any spoilers, but okay, but we can say that he does, like, he's so jealous of Wolverine. And the movie does open up with him talking about Wolverine. But I found myself thinking, well, I'm going to have to tell my wife, remember in Logan when this happened, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And I was thinking, because if you didn't see that particular movie, this is going to mean nothing to you.
But you got to understand, there's maybe what, 300 or 400 jokes that go by in this 2 hours. So you can't expect someone, even us, to get all of
Yeah.
them, or someone who's not a fan. You don't have to explain it because the next joke is coming so fast, they're going to laugh at that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's okay that your wife's not going to get all the jokes, but she's going to come out remembering a lot of them, and the movie opens right away. People say, oh, don't talk as a spoiler, but it's not. Is with when he died in Logan, and it's a little like a music box. And I mean, the audience just lost it.
Yeah.
So we right away he just got us just right into the movie, grabbed us and gave us one of the biggest laughs of the film, I think, right away. His just hatred for Wolverine.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. The first thing that popped in my head, was it the same as yours? Where can I get one of those?
Oh, absolutely. I'm like, please do not just be a prop for the movie. I would love to have that and put it on display behind me. But I don't know. Now, someone's going to do it.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have it out. And maybe you got to check eBay or something like that, and they have great swag. But first thing I thought, you're right. First thing I thought is like, I've got to have that.
Yeah, now, Jeff, the last time we talked, we said this wasn't even necessary to bring up again. But once again, how impressive are the special effects going on here? Because they really go into slow motion here. And I found myself thinking, well, I'll just wait till it comes out on video so I can freeze frame all this amazing detail that is going on here.
I thought to myself, how are they going to top the bridge sequence, in the original film? And not only that, but they have these classic like love songs that's playing, because here you have the most violent acts going on, and you have these tearjerker 70s songs, 80s ballads going on behind it. But they did that whole sequence on that bus where they're moving all the mutants.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I mean, they really. I always kind of fantasize that I'm in one of these meetings and like, okay, here's the script. All it says is we're transporting mutants, and Deadpool and X-Force free them or something, right? So now you got to sit there and think of a 10-15 minute sequence. You got to storyboard it. You got to figure out, can you even do it? Is it feasible and all of that? And it starts with them jumping out of a plane. I mean, that whole sequence, stuff that we've seen before, but then it just seems fresh for some reason, So the action sequences really blew me away in this movie. Not only being violent, but also just, Deadpool doing his one-liners just constantly really made the movie just move along.
Now, T.J. Miller was in the first one, had a much bigger role, got into some hot water recently, got fired from Silicon Valley. Do you think that the original cut of this movie had a lot more T.J. Miller and they scaled it back to kind of stay out of the limelight?
From what I understand, coming back from the junket and coming back from interviews, he really doesn't want to talk about TJ Miller. So, and the only thing he says, he's definitely will not be in spin-offs or in future Deadpool movies. So I really think, we don't know the full story, but if you watch the movie, he's his right-hand man. He's his procurer. He has that one sequence where he goes, I'm going to put up a classified ad and get everybody together to make X-Force. You just think that he always went to him for whatever he needed. And he seemed like he was missing in this movie. And what the scenes they did have was very vague. It's just like, oh, there he is from the first movie. But I think they left a lot of his stuff on the cutting room floor. I really do.
Now, we can't talk about the cameos. There's a couple cameos in this movie that are a second long that are just priceless, and I'm dying to tell people about it, but we can't do that as critics.
We can't tell it. No, it's the critics code. But you did say one of the X-Force is Mr. Invisible or Mr. whatever and when we find out who that really is, I thought I imagined who that was, and when you texted me going, that was who that was, okay, good, because it's maybe not even a second you see his
Yeah.
face, you know. So that is a great cameo in that, and also we have to talk about Josh Brolin. I mean,
Yeah.
the man is amazing in this. My only complaint about the movie is the entire film is they're just battling each other the whole film, and then at one point he's like, "All right, let's work together." That was so corny, you know, when he finally says, "We gotta, you know, if I'm gonna make why I'm here work." You know,
Yeah.
I need to kind of work with you, you know, reluctantly. So I really hated that twist.
It's
You know,
all
I just
about
thought that was
heart,
lame.
Jeff. You got to have heart. No,
Well,
okay.
I've got this, you know, so this I want to just push the button and go backwards, you know. Is that cool or what? Look at your
That
face.
I am. First of all, I was going to say how jealous I am of your shirt, and now you have
And it
an
works.
actual glove. You're
Toys R
obviously a
Us.
super fan here.
Well, before they went out of business, you know, I had to get this for my review of the Avengers Infinity Gauntlet, Affinity War, but I had to have the gauntlet like this. And also, this is Hot Topic. I mean, they are just the most amazing store where you can get just, I want something original. I don't want
Yeah.
something everybody has. So yeah, I got a friend of mine got this for me. He goes, "Hey, you want to do this for your review?" And I'm like, "Oh, you're just awesome. You really are. Wait till you see what I have for Jurassic World, the one coming. I have this great shirt that I just ordered. It's got all the different logos, and it's the 25th anniversary. It's really cool."
Now, we couldn't talk about the ending of Infinity War, and there's something we can't talk about at the end of this movie that could affect everything. What are your thoughts without saying, Jeff?
How am I supposed to? I, I don't know what to say without. I'm telling you, for Deadpool, and if man, if you give any spoilers away, I get such hate mail. I
Yeah.
mean, I get such, and you know, sometimes I do my reviews. I look at the trailer over and over and over to say, okay, they showed that, they showed this, so I can make mentions, and they kind of reveal some things that's going on, and I tell people this is all in the trailer, you know. So I don't know. I'm gonna say the same thing you do about the end. What would you what would you say?
Well, at first I was kind of upset, but then I was like, "Oh, you don't suppose that oh oh my god, that means holy cow." And then I'm like, "Wait
Exactly.
a minute. Is this for real or is this not for real or is this a joke?" Didn't know.
Okay, this is kind of like Seinfeld. Remember the Seinfeld episode where his girlfriend found the thank you card in the trash,
Yeah.
and she's like, "You threw my card away?" He's like, "How long are you supposed to keep a thank you card, right?" My mom was a big card person, you know. So it's the same about this. How long are we supposed to wait before we can talk about, you know, a month? You know, are we never allowed to talk about these endings or these twists because someone who's like who's on another planet has never seen these films? You know, so I always try to figure out when can we talk about it? When is it allowed? A week or two after a movie comes out or something like that? Or do we have to do something specifically that says this is a spoiler review? You know, so things are getting too complicated.
Yeah. Well, you obviously know my excitement on this film. I'm going to go see it again tomorrow night, take the wife. Not as good as the first one, still great, definitely R rated. Jokes are going 100 miles an hour. I'm going to have to go not A plus, not A, but A minus.
I would probably give it. I wouldn't give it an A. That means it's a perfect film.
Yeah.
It's got some flaws in it. There's our times where I was just overwhelmed. I really was. Not that I wasn't bored or anything like that, but I got to see it again. I mean, this is just too much. It's like reading. I've got to see this movie again so I can really properly review it and all that. But I would give it a high B. It's a good time. A lot of people think it's better than the original, and I don't
Really?
agree with that at all. Yeah, it's
No,
some critics are
not
like,
me.
uh,
I just
no.
I think the magic of the first one, the first R-rated superhero movie, things they were doing and saying was also magic. Now I was expecting it, I was waiting for it, I was laughing, but it wasn't the love of seeing it for the first time.
And Ryan Reynolds is promoting the heck out of this movie. He was on Colbert the other night in costume, in character, doing the monologue. So he is hitting everything. And you know what? Good for him. This is his baby. And I think this franchise is going to be around a long time.
Yeah, and I'll be there to see it again. Jeff, thank you as always. Can't wait to see about what you think of the next movie.
Thanks, Chuck.